Outside of a dog, a book is man's best friend. Inside of a dog, it's too dark to read. And with that, I double dog dare to help me welcome Mr. Edwin Ettinghausen.
I'm going to ask you to be contemplative for just a moment and remember the first time you had a wish or a goal or a dream that permeated every cell in your body. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. I remember the first time that happened for me. I was a few years younger, a few feet shorter, and actually had hair on my head. I was 7 years old. And for me at that age, the highlight of my week was Sunday evening, because there was something special that happened shortly after dinner. First off, there was a show called Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. This starred Marlin Perkins. Now, Marlin Perkins was a great adventurer who traveled the world. He wrestled lions and tigers and bears, oh my, and pythons and anacondas, and somehow he always managed to get himself out of a tight spot by the end of that 30-minute segment. But that was only the warm-up, the prelude to the main show, Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color. Now, I grew up at this time, it was the late 60s. Now, the ironic thing was the show was called The Wonderful World of Color, but my parents grew up in the Depression era, and for them, they didn't see the prudence in wasting money on a color television set when they had a perfectly fine black and white TV. So we had this little 12-inch box, and we didn't have, like the kids have now, the 77-inch HDTV plastered across the wall. No, we had EHDTF. Eddie, hold the tin foil. On that little 12-inch black and white box, we had rabbit ears with tin foil, now we call it aluminum foil, and you had to position those antennas just right to get reception. And sometimes if you held it and maybe put a foot out, or an arm out, just right, you just had to freeze. Hold it right there. And that was the best picture you could see. Well, one particular night, and keep in mind that this was a very strict household that I grew up in, the only time we were allowed to actually watch TV was on a non-school night or holiday. Now, technically, Sunday night is just before a school morning, but my mom and dad fudged the rules and let us watch Sunday night because the most amazing shows came on, and one particular show came on. This was a show, a movie about a family that lived in Texas. Now, the dad had to go on a cattle drive that was going to take him 3 months away from the family, and so he made the oldest son, Travis, the man of the house. And he told Travis, you are in charge of your mommy, Katie, and your little brother, Arliss. When I'm gone, you are the man of the house. What you say goes. Shortly after Dad left, Travis found something was stealing meat out of the smokehouse. And being the man of the house, he was going to find out and put an end to that rascal. So he set a trap. The next morning, he could hear something in the smokehouse. He went there with his rifle, opened the door, and guess what he saw? A yellow dog. And this movie, of course, would be
Old Yeller.
Old Yeller. Now, is there anyone here in this room who has not seen the old movie Old Yeller? There are a few. That's okay. Basically, this dog came into this family's life and changed everything for them, protected them. This was the smartest, bravest dog you could ever see. This dog chased away mountain lions. One time, Arliss was trying to catch some wild boar, and he was on this dead tree branch over this canyon, and he had a rope down there. He was trying to snag one of those wild boar, and as he tugged on it, the branch snapped. Travis went crashing down into this herd of wild boar, and they were the ones that have those tusks, and they start gnashing his legs. Old Yeller jumped in to save Travis. And then we heard on TV, stay tuned for scenes for next week. How could they set us up like that? You see, it was only a 1-hour program, so a feature-length movie they had to cut in half. Now, for a 7-year-old to wait a whole week to see what happened to poor Old Yeller was just torture. It was worse than waiting for Christmas, but eventually the day came, Sunday night, and I got to see the results. Sure enough, Old Yeller jumped in there and saved Travis. They had many other adventures, and when that movie was over, I wanted my own Old Yeller. I wanted it so bad, it permeated every cell in my body. I begged, I pleaded my foster mom and dad, please can I get an Old Yeller? I even prayed, Jesus, if I can get an Old Yeller, I will never be bad again. I must have not kept my end of the bargain because I never got my Old Yeller. Grew up, I moved away, I had a family of my own. And we had 4 kids who were about the age of Travis and Arliss. Lived out in the country, and one day the kids came running in, Daddy, Daddy, you guys see this? Come out, quick. Well, since we lived out in the country, we were used to seeing all kinds of wild, furry critters and slithering snakes and lizards and even horny toads. Those of you who saw Old Yeller, remember Arliss traded a horny toad to the owner of Old Yeller so they could keep him? When I went outside, I did not see a horny toad. Guess what I saw? Old Yeller. Now, of course, it wasn't Old Yeller, but it looked just like him. It was a yellow lab. Instantly, I was taken back to a 7-year-old child. My wish, my dream after 35 years had finally come true. Unfortunately, obviously, this was somebody's pet dog. We couldn't keep it. The kids had already fallen in love with it, and I looked around his neck. He had a collar and 2 little dog tags, and one had his name. Oh, no. We have 4 kids. One is a boy. Our son's middle name is Chase. Guess what this dog's name was? Chase. And of course, once I told the kids' name was Chase, they were even more excited. Oh, it's Chase. They were already playing Chase with him. There was a second dog tag, and that had a phone number on it. I called the number. Hi, I have your dog Chase. Oh, man, okay. I've had him since he was a pup. He's 2 years old. I had to move. I'm in an apartment that doesn't allow pets. He's staying with a family friend of mine. I'll have him come and get Chase. Okay, no rush. Take your time. Eventually the guy showed up and he took Chase away, and of course as they drove away there were a few tears that were shed. The kids also were disappointed as well. 2 days later, guess who showed up on our doorstep?
Chase.
Chase! I have to admit, I wasn't in any real rush to find the phone, and I spent a little time with the kids playing with Chase, playing fetch, and finally had to make that fateful call once again. And hi, it's Ed. Chase is at our doorstep again. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'll send my friend right over. Take your time. No rush. Eventually he came and took Chase away. And that was too heartbreaking. 2 times how that happened. Guess what happened the very next day? Chase showed up. Now this time, this was just too much to bear. I couldn't let the kids play with him any longer. I had to call right away. I said, look, Chase is here again. You gotta come get him. He said, look, my buddy and I are having some problems, and do you think your family might like to keep Chase? Yeah, we can take Chase off your hands if you'd like. It's no trouble at all. Of course, when hung up the phone, I was like a kid myself, ran out and told the kids, Chase is ours! And that was Christmas in July for the rest of the summer. Now, Chase was the greatest dog ever. Unlike Old Yeller, Chase didn't have the intelligence and the bravery of Old Yeller, but what he lacked in bravery and intelligence, he made up for with affection. The most loving dog you could ever hope to see. Now, you've heard the phrase, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Sometimes you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and sometimes you can't teach a new dog old tricks because Chase just didn't seem to learn. We had horses, and he would chase the horses. Well, the horses didn't always like to be chased, and sometimes they would one kick and Chase would go flying. He'd get up, shake himself off, and chase the horses some more. His name was Chase, and he was definitely good at chasing. Whatever we pick up, we throw. He'd chase after it. But he was a yellow lab, not a golden retriever, and sometimes he didn't quite find what we'd thrown. And if he couldn't quite find what we threw, he'd pick anything up that was handy. Sometimes he'd even chase invisible balls. And he'd go and he'd rush around and he'd find a stone or a stick, whatever he could find, he'd bring it like he had just discovered the most amazing thing in the world. The other problem Chase had is he didn't quite understand the concept. It's a simple 3-step process: throw, fetch, drop. Throw, fetch, drop. We did the throw, Chase did the fetch, he didn't know how to drop. He would just hold it in his mouth, we had to wrestle it, come on Chase, drop it, drop it, drop it. We had the most amazing adventures with Chase. We'd go on hikes and walks and runs. One day we were on a walk down the country road, and part of the family was on one side of the road, part on the other. And Chase wanted to go to the other side, and sure enough, as he went, something came up. Now, we lived in the country, but we didn't have mountain lions or wild boar or wolves, but we did have Ford Broncos and Dodge Rams and Mercury Cougars and Dodge Vipers, and sure enough, the truck came along and smack! Chase went flying. He was a yellow clump of fur on the side of the road. All of us were beside ourselves. We ran over to Chase. We were afraid the worst possible thing that could have happened. And the truck driver, he screeched, just screeching all around. I'm so sorry, I didn't even see him. It's like, it wasn't your fault, it wasn't your fault. Chase opened one eye, and then he got up and he shook himself off, and he seemed to be okay. And when the man came over, of course this man almost killed him, so of course you know what Chase would do to somebody like any of us would do if someone almost killed us. He ran over and hugged and kissed him. Well, dogs can't hug, but he did the best he could, and he certainly kissed him a lot and wagged his tail and was all excited to be around anybody because Chase did not hold a grudge. You know, as time went on, the kids grew up, moved away, we downsized, we moved from the country to the city, smaller backyard. And Chase didn't have quite the energy he had when he was younger, and he didn't go out on the runs like he used to. We'd go out on a walk, and sometimes even a small little bit of distance and smallest little hill was just a bit much for Chase. He'd get winded, and he would just plop down wherever he was. We tugged on his leash, and he was just not going to go until he was ready to go. But the whole time he was happy. He was wagging his tail, excited to be out there with us. Sometimes we'd end up just carrying him home. Eventually we decided we'd go on shorter walks and sometimes even go get the car to go retrieve him. But eventually the day came where Chase's health wasn't so good. Now, if you remember Old Yeller, his demise was
Rabies.
Yes, rabies. I'm trying to remember what the word was they used back then.
Hydronophobia.
Yes, thank you. That's what the word was. Now, we didn't have animals with rabies where we were, but we had another kind of animal that had a poisonous bite. An ass, a viper, an adder, rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
Chase got bit by a rattlesnake. And he survived! Now, knowing Chase the way you now know him, do you think he learned his lesson?
No.
No, because it was less than 2 years later he got bit a second time. That was not Chase's demise. His demise was just old age. And eventually as he wore out, his hips gave out eventually. He had really bad issues with breathing, his teeth were bad, and it came the time where we had to let Chase go free. Now in the old days, of course, poor Travis had to get the shotgun or the rifle and take care of Old Yeller. We have a more humane way of doing things now. It was my job as the man of the house to take Chase to the facility. They gave me shot. They gave some privacy in the room, a little brown carpet. I remember the walls were painted a sky blue, and I sat there right next to Chase and patted him on his head as he took his final few breaths. Now Chase couldn't talk, but if you could talk, I kind of think he might have said this. This is a poem written by Karen Clouston. You've given me a special gift, so sorrowfully endowed, and through these last few cherished days, your courage makes me proud. But really, love is knowing when your best friend is in pain, and understanding earthly acts will only be in vain. So looking deep into your eyes, beyond into your soul, I see in you the magic that will once more make me whole. The strength that you possess is why I look to you today to do this thing that must be done, for it's the only way. That strength is why I followed you and chose you as my friend, and why I've loved you all these years, my partner, till the end. Please understand just what this gift you're giving means to me. It gives me back the strength I've lost and all my dignity. You take a stand on my behalf, for that is what friends do. Know that what you do is right, for I believe in you. So one last time I breathe your scent, and through your hand I feel the courage that's within you to now grant me this appeal. Cut the leash that holds me here, dear friend, and let me run. Once more, a strong and steady dog, my pain and struggle done. And don't despair my passing, for I won't be far away. Forever here within your heart and memory I will stay. I'll be there watching over you, your ever faithful friend, and in your memories I will run, a young dog once again. Now, it's been many doggy years since Chase left us, lots of dog days of summer, but there's some lessons I learned from my dog Chase, some lessons that have helped me in my life. Just 4 weeks ago, right at this very moment, I was running a race through the valley of the shadow of death. Well, supposedly Psalm 23 is where Death Valley got its name. And this was a tough race. And there was a point where I had to make a climb in this 120-degree heat. Now, if you want to know what it feels like to run in 120-degree heat, I'll give you an idea. Take a blow dryer, put it on the highest setting, turn it on full blast, put it in your face. Now turn your oven on to 400 degrees, open the door, put your head inside, now run in place. That is what it's like to run through that valley. There was a point where we had 17 miles of climb to make a 1 mile vertical climb within that 17 miles, just relentlessly up. The wind, hot, blow dryer blowing on our face, and there were a couple times I had to actually stop, catch my breath. But I thought about Chase. Chase never lamented the conditions that he found himself in. He just enjoyed the moment. You see, Death Valley has the recorded highest temperature ever on Earth. On July 10, 1913, there was a temperature of 134 degrees. Now, I find it interesting that on July 10, 2017, I myself was setting a world record by running that race. And there's a quote from a man who, on the opposite end of the spectrum, had made 2 trips to the South Pole. His name is Captain Robert Falcon Scott. He said, "The dog lives for the day, for the hour, and for the moment." Now, this man would know nothing about that because their mode of transportation back then was the dog sled. Unfortunately, on his second trip to the South Pole, on the return trip, there was miscommunication, and the dog sled team that was supposed to meet them didn't arrive. The whole expedition perished. Now I'm on my trip on the other end of the spectrum, on the hottest time of the year, and making that climb. And I was able to think about Chase and channel my inner Chase and get up that hill. See, Chase lived in the moment. There were times in that race where I couldn't really think about the 135 miles I had to get through. I could only think of just the 1 mile in front of me, or even the 1 step. Like Captain Scott said, 1 day, 1 hour, 1 moment. And Chase would sometimes chase after the ball. He didn't always find the ball he was running for, but whatever he found, he was happy to have. I didn't quite get the finish I wanted. I wanted to get first place. I didn't get that. If I had gotten top 3, I would have broken a world record. Didn't get that. If I had gotten top 10, it would have been my 100th top 10 100-mile finish, a world record. Didn't get that. I got 35th place. No. Outside of this room, if anybody were to ask me, I would say, well, you know, as a few days after that was my 35th wedding anniversary, I chose. I could have gone faster, but you know, it's a tribute to my wife. But I enjoyed what I did get. And I'm going to challenge you to challenge your inner Chase. See, when I saw Old Joe, it was on that little 12-inch black and white screen. Every day, you see Chase. Of course you do. It's on a big blue and white sign. They hang it over a big bank. They named a financial institution after my dog. Yes. So I'm going to challenge you to channel your inner Chase, and also be the person your dog believes you are. I double dog dare you. Madam Toastmaster.